And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day today. Shout out to Sports and Fitness Rants because this is where this video is coming from. I was checking out a video from him yesterday, and I said, let me throw my 2 cents in because this topic was really, well, it should be unbelievable, but in modern society, it is totally believable. So before we get into it, let me say this. I am 100% against this whole notion that as long as it's not bothering anybody else, people should be able to do what they want to do. I'm 100% against it. And why? Because that is the very notion that has led us to where we are today. If you tell people that you can do what you want to do as long as it's not harming anybody else, then you can't tell anybody anything because that will be their response. Well, it's not hurting anybody else, so stay out my business. That is how you get to the point to where truth no longer becomes truth, because now it is about your truth or their truth and all this stuff when, again, 2 + 2 is 4. Doesn't matter who you are and what you want it to be. Truth is truth. And, you know, your experience can be one thing, but truth is always truth. But this is how we get to this place, is by people saying, hey, let people do whatever they want as long as it's not harming anyone else. Then you can't tell anybody anything. And this is why we have the legion of fanboys who defend their king in a low integrity way. He has went about his career and think that we should all just accept it. We should just accept the super teams and the flopping and the lying and everything that LeBron James does. We don't have to list them all. And this is how we get to the point to where words have no meaning anymore. Again, I told you one of my pet peeves is hearing these NBA players talk about confidence. Another one that I can't stand is hearing them talk about making the right play, and which goes right along with the whole basketball IQ thing, which is, what does that even mean anymore? And again, shout out to Sports and Fitness Rants, because I'm about to give you an example of why words don't have meaning anymore. So Sports and Fitness Rants was talking about some guy. I didn't take it upon myself to remember the guy's name because after I heard what he was saying, it just let me understand that he is fanboy 1 through 1,000. His name is not important. But Sports and Fitness Rants was talking about this guy who, and I don't know if it was an article that the guy wrote, but anyway, and I'm paraphrasing, generally what the guy is saying is that LeBron James on average is one of the slowest in the NBA, on average. But his maximum speed is one of the fastest in the NBA. And he kind of equated this to LeBron James. He somehow related it to LeBron James not playing defense and how this is a high IQ move by LeBron James not playing defense to conserve energy. Again, I'm paraphrasing, but this is the gist. Go listen to Sports and Fitness Rants to hear it exactly as it was. And this is amazing. So he's classifying LeBron James' lack of defense as a high IQ thing. I mean, there's many things that you could call LeBron James' lack of defense. High IQ is not one of them. You can call it laziness. You can call it him trying to mask his older age. Because again, they keep talking about how great he is for age 40, but again, they never take into account him not playing defense as one of the factors amongst the juice, allegedly. And you can even classify LeBron James' lack of defense, or you should classify it as selfishness. Because why would you leave your team to play 4-on-5 so many times? But this guy classified it as high IQ. And this is what I'm talking about, my people, is that words don't have any meaning. People simply twist words in their favor nowadays. You know, when you're talking about work ethic, people twist that in their favor. Again, you know, some things are relative. You know, while you may say, I don't know, somebody like Giannis, or at least at one point, you might say that somebody like Giannis has a greater work ethic than a lot of people in the modern NBA. To me, you cannot compare Giannis to the work ethic of past eras. To me, Giannis doesn't have that kind of work ethic. But relative, and like I said, at one point, because to me, Giannis has been infected with the entitled disease that players get infected with, that I'm hoping Victor Wembanyama will somehow avoid this infection of the entitlement disease. But yeah, so everything is relative to a certain degree. But in general, how do you know if we're talking about the same thing? So if I say someone is a hard worker and you say someone is a hard worker, well, we probably have different ideas about that. But here's the difference, is when you're talking about a industry or a job, there are normally standards for that job. And this is how you can measure yourself. This is how you can know if your definition of hard work matches up to someone else's definition. This is how you can know if the LeBron James definition of hard work matches the Michael Jordan, or forget Michael Jordan. Well, if we're talking about hard work, I would put Kobe Bryant on the same plane as Michael Jordan. Again, it has been said by Tim Grover that Kobe actually worked harder, but Michael Jordan worked smarter, which I think is also important as well, is knowing when enough is enough so that you don't trash your body, so to speak. However, pick it doesn't matter. You can say Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan. If you were comparing either one of those two to LeBron James, it is clear to see, if you're not a LeBron James fanboy, that Kobe and Michael Jordan are much harder workers than LeBron James was ever and will ever be in his career. To me, in a lot of these things, you could probably deduce from simply watching these players on the court, right? If you watch how hard Michael Jordan constantly works on the court, you could probably gather that he's a pretty hard worker in practice. You could probably just gather that from how hard he works on the court. Even if you want to compare him, let's say, to a guy like Allen Iverson, who I don't think anyone can question how hard Allen Iverson competes on the court. But if you're really paying attention, Michael Jordan, again, he does everything on the basketball court great, which is, practice. That is what separates that ability to do that. Is when you do everything on the court at a high level, you don't get that without practice. Whereas someone like Allen Iverson, he gets out there and he competes, and he's a great offensive player and whatnot, but he's not great at everything on the basketball court. So again, you have your measuring sticks in place. And sometimes someone comes along and builds up on the standards. But again, this generation has come along and tried to change the definition of the standards, change the definition of words, change the definition of confidence. Again, all of these modern players, they're cocky, not confident. All of these modern players are seeking, going back to watching that whole starting five thing, but even going back to watching, just pick a basketball game and watch it. It's like seeing these players celebrate after every dunk or every shot. It feels desperate. It's like, do you need attention so much that you have to draw attention to what you just did every single time you do something? Like it is. It's desperate. That is how desperate these players are for praise. Whereas, go back in the days, talk about Larry Bird, who was known for trash talking. You wouldn't see Larry Bird celebrating after every shot. He might trash talk an individual because he's competitive after a shot. He might tell you, yeah, there's nothing you can do about this. He might tell you what he's going to do before he does it, but he doesn't have to celebrate himself because he knew he could do it. Again, these modern players is like they have to pat theirself. They have to give theirself constant affirmations and reaffirming again, because it comes off as desperate. And so, this is just another example of this guy trying to say that LeBron James' lack of defense is a high IQ move. So now we're just going to give it, number one is just a lie. But now we're just going to turn words into just something completely different for the benefit of propping up the false king. I guess flopping is a high IQ move too. Now I could see if so let's go back to what he was saying about LeBron James has one of the slower average speeds. Again, one of the slower average speeds, but his maximum speed is faster than a lot of people in the NBA. This is what the guy was saying. Now, let's say if LeBron James actually found a way to be effective on defense at a slower average speed. Now, that is something that could be indicative of a high IQ. If he found a way to not have to move, his feet, but still guard his man, that would be amazing. I would be all for that. LeBron James, if you can figure out a way to move as slow as you do and yet still not have your team play 4-on-5, that would be indicative of high IQ if you can figure out how to do that. But to my knowledge and to my what I witnessed watching the Lakers play, LeBron James has not figured out how to do that. So again, okay, yeah, it's just more the same. But anyway, we gonna hold up here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think about this fanboy number one? Like I said, I don't remember the guy's name, and I never will. This fanboy number one saying that LeBron James not playing defense is an example of his high IQ. I think the more specific words he used were LeBron James pacing himself on defense. But again, I would argue that you could call it many things but high IQ. You can call it lazy, selfishness, oh man. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a truly, truly fantastic day. And I'll see you next time. All right.